Hi, I'm Cindy Abbott Letro, and welcome to this edition of Behind the Camera. And I am so delighted today to talk to two folks, one that is an institution here in Buffalo and one that may become an institution. Joe Giambra, I remember reading Jeff Simon's column saying there's probably no better love, no better person that everybody seems to know than Joe Giambra. He's been a cop, he's been a trumpet player, a restaurateur, actor, musician, you name it, he's done it all. And Harry Lipsitz is with us, who is a very accomplished young filmmaker, and the two of them are creating quite a buzz together, and I welcome you both. And you know, Joe, you and I met when you first came to Buffalo.
Yes.
And can I say how old you
yes,
are now?
I mean,
Did you just have a birthday, or what?
Halloween. I had my 86th birthday.
Wow.
On Halloween.
And you just keep going. You're the Energizer Bunny, more lives than any cat I know.
What else is there to do?
Well, what is it, though, that drives you? I mean...
I don't know. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do, and it doesn't matter if you're old or young. If you enjoy it, work at it. And I do.
And right now, you've just been cast in a series, I understand, that's going...
A pilot that's being shot here for a television series. That will be shot here, assuming the pilot gets sold. And Harry Lipsitz and I have our own production company. We just finished a script that we're shopping around in California to be done as a TV series to be shot in Buffalo as well.
Harry, how did you two find each other? Because there's a little bit of an age differential here.
There sure is, and that's an interesting story, but Joey and I became friends when he came to audition for my senior thesis film that I brought to Buffalo, and it was actually cast by the wonderful Darlene Pickering Hummer.
Ah, she's
and
terrific.
She had supplied me with a pool of actors, and I auditioned them at the Jewish Community Center, and Joey happened to be one of those actors, and I think he agreed to do it so long as there was a little bit of pay, and it wasn't just for cheese sandwiches, as I recall.
Which I gotta say, Joey, that's probably been the way in the early stages of doing films in Buffalo. That was how you got paid, right?
Oh my God! If you got a sandwich, if you were able to get a sandwich, you know. I've done a lot of film for nothing. I went to the Bronx to do a film for nothing, and it turned out it was an opening for me to get an audition for The Sopranos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I auditioned for them in one of their first shows. And the part that I auditioned for went to Peter Bogdanovich. He and I were the last two remaining, and they chose him. He had a bigger name, nice guy. He played the psychiatrist, Lorraine Bracco's psychiatrist. And they called me several times after that, and each time I lost to a movie star.
Well, and that's what's so interesting about what's happening in Buffalo now, because, you know, I've been around, not quite as long as Joey, but long enough to see that the film industry is really sort of going through a renaissance here, and that's probably what you saw.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can certainly say that before I went to film school, I never thought I'd be returning to Buffalo to work in the film industry. I'm, you know, so happy to be able to do that. It gives me nothing but pride, and
makes your parents happy too.
Sure does, yeah. But it's great to be able to be working for what I went to school for. You know, it's nice to have that feeling, and I think when I say that, I think I not only speak for myself, but other young folks my age who are lucky enough to be able to work in the film industry here.
What is it that you see here? What is it that makes it a good place for film? I want to hear from each of you. Yeah.
Oh my God, you've got everything here. You've got the 19th century, the 20th, and the 21st. There are neighborhoods here that are still intact that you can film the 1920s, 1930s, and then you have a futuristic look as well. And everything is here. Plus you have water. You know, and it's wonderful, very scenic, very scenic. And if you shoot here in the summertime, forget about it. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
How about for you?
I would say, I think how the community supports not only local filmmakers, but also the larger films that come into the area. I think that plays into it a lot. Buffalo is not not tired of movies coming into our backyard quite yet. So there's still a level of excitement, and I think it's reflected in how people are when movies are here, and how they treat the productions that come to town.
Have you seen a difference or a change in sort of the attitude
Oh,
here?
very much so. I've been a SAG member for over 40 years. And I worked in a lot of films in New York and Los Angeles. And I just finished a film in Buffalo in which Harry was involved in. He was the production manager in a movie called PRSCK''ED. And the crew was all from Buffalo. It was fantastic. These kids are great. And the people that made this movie for very small money were totally impressed. And I venture to say that when that film comes out, it'll be a sight to see.
Well, you know what's interesting? It has become a sort of a mecca, place where independent filmmakers can do very well.
Yeah.
But we just saw Quiet Place 2, which is a major film,
Right.
come here and choose to work here.
Yeah.
So I gotta think there's some,
For the above reasons.
yeah.
For the above reasons. Heretofore, there were never any production houses here. You got 2 or 3 now. Sound stages.
Right.
You know, that's great. The only thing missing in Buffalo is the aftermath of making a movie, the processing. Instead of going to Toronto or Detroit or New York, you do the film here. I mean, that was a problem with Hide in Plain Sight in 1978. They used to wait for the rushes from Toronto, and it's tedious.
Talk to me about your project. I mean, what you're doing. I mean, I know that it says evolve, that you got to know each other. Now you've got a script. You wanna do. Is it a series that you want to do?
It's a film script, and Harry wants to do it as a television series, which I thought was a good idea, and I'm backing him on that. And he can tell you more about it. Why don't you tell her about that?
Yeah, so, well, Joey and I, we started a company several years back called Susie Noon Productions, which actually, if you look at that backwards, it reads "No One Is Us," which is the name of the screenplay that Joey and I are currently trying to shop around and potentially even sell as a series here in Buffalo. But Joey, why don't you speak a little bit about what that series is about?
Well, No One Is Us is actually, the film is based on a stage play that I wrote in 1964. And I couldn't get it produced in Buffalo because the people at the Studio Arena at that time thought it was too ethnic. And in 1978, when I was cast in Hide in Plain Sight, I let the second male lead, Robert Vajaro, read the script. I asked him if he'd read it, and he said he would like to, and he did, and he loved it. He said, you know what? I would love to direct this play at the Actors Studio in Hollywood. I said, sure, yeah. No, I mean it, I'm serious. 10 years passed, I get a phone call. He said, I'm doing your play at the Actors Studio, come on down. I took a train, went to California, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. And since then, I've been working on the screenplay, and up until I met Harry, it was never very clear. And through his guidance, we now have a screenplay that I think works.
Well, that's interesting, Harry, because in making the movie now, are you involved in the writing, the producing, I mean, that's all what you do?
Yeah, so I went to school and I went to film school and concentrated in producing for 4 years. And I hope to, become a producer throughout my life, and that's sort of my aspirations. When it comes to writing, I certainly give input, but I do so as a producer would in terms of how they're involved in the writing process. I generally, it's more of a support, and you encourage the creativity that comes from the writer.
Can you give me just a little nugget of, is it set in Buffalo? What takes place?
Oh, yeah.
It's
1933 Buffalo to 1956 Buffalo, and it involves organized crime, police corruption, homosexuality, black and white marriage, jazz, and throughout it all, there's a character who lives vicariously as Perry Como.
Well, it's got my interest. That's amazing. So what do you have to do? You've got that nugget, you've got Joey, you're working on this. How do you now get attention?
So, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot more platforms nowadays. One of the things we're exploring is is just that, is if we can entice folks at you know, Amazon or Netflix to possibly want to purchase Joey's script. And we're also looking at the prospect of making that on an independent level here, similar to the film Pricked that Joey was talking about earlier.
Well, it's just so exciting. What do you see? I mean, we've got like 2 minutes left here. What do you see as the next phase of both your career and what could happen here?
Well, getting it done and using my original music in the background.
All right.
And watching it.
How about for you, Harry?
Just continuing to see the film community in Buffalo grow and prosper, and just being tremendously thankful to the folks of Western New York, as well as, you know, the efforts of the Buffalo Niagara Film Commission and all that sort of advocate for the continued success here of movies in Western New York.
The talent is here. The young talent in Buffalo is amazing.
Sure is.
Film, absolutely amazing, as they are in theater as well. We have a great
Music,
pool
theater,
of actors
we
there,
are
man. Oh, forget about it.
You're preaching to the choir here. I've got to ask you that one
Yes.
final thing.
Yes.
What is it that has kept you excited? You stayed here. You really seem to get an energy from this
I
community.
love it.
What is it, though?
I just love it. I mean, it's not about money, it's about love. It's what you do, what you love, and love what you do. That's all.
Well, that is a great motto to have, and I have a feeling that Harry has that same
He
one.
does. Harry's good. He's good.
That's great. Thank you both for being with us, and I
Thank you.
hope that all of you will come back on the next episode of Behind the Camera.